Hello, OutOfThisBinary viewers. It's Timmie here. Happy Saturday. Sitting outside of my house on this beautiful day in Tacoma. A little chilly right now. This week's subject is being an ally, and to begin with this, I wanted to talk about this quote that I came across, I think, months ago. I don't remember the exact quote, so I'm just going to paraphrase it, and it's actually a quote about racial identity. So the quote says that color blindness and race consciousness, they come from good impulses, but race inclusivity and being an ally for marginalized racial identities is more so about listening to those impulses behind color blindness and race consciousness and being fluid with them, knowing how and when to apply them in each passing situation. So I'm beginning with this quote not because I'm saying that gender is exactly parallel with race issues. I'm not saying that at all, but I feel like this is a good idea about being an ally in general for any marginalized identities or social identities that can still really apply as insofar as talking about the impulses behind those feelings. So I mean, the first impulse behind blindness, so the impulse of just treating everyone the way you want to be treated. And so applying to trans and non-binary people, simply just listen and talk to trans and non-binary people, befriend someone on the basis of their qualities as a person. And if they happen to be transgender or non-binary, don't let that be a detractor. Don't see this as a deficit, but just as an aspect of their personality. Yeah, just listen and talk to trans people, go to their shows, check out their artwork and music, invite them to events and social gatherings. Don't make every conversation with them about their gender identity. When you get to know, a trans or non-binary person holistically, you'll see how this identity has impacted what has made them as a person in both subtle ways and maybe, subtle ways or more extreme ways. So this isn't to say that talking about gender identity is completely off the table. I'm sure that identity will probably be talked about from time to time if you're befriending a trans person, and when that happens, just listen to them with empathy and willingness to learn. So the impulse of consciousness, developing consciousness about the different interpersonal aspects of engaging with someone with a trans and non-binary identity. So, if a trans person gets angry over something that you've done that's short-sighted or ignorant towards their gender identity, don't generalize them as being over-hysterical. Just listen to them, and just because someone is addressing a social issue that's going on in an angry way doesn't mean their perspective shouldn't be listened to. A big part of just being interpersonal with trans people is respecting pronouns and respecting gender-inclusive language. Don't complain or talk about how frustrating the language is to use for a trans person. Just really work through your own language barriers on your own and take the time to learn about your own ways that you can overcome some of these barriers. Just listen or be conscious if there is something that's triggering for a trans person. There are intersections with mental health and neurodivergence for transgender people. Take some time to learn and read about that and see how you can respect see how you can respect mental health as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, kind of going along with that, just reading and watching resources about trans experience is a really great way to just educate yourself. There's a lot of great resources that are out today, such as this channel, and offer to help. Here's another good one. So offering to help trans people with clothing sizes if they're looking for that. That's a really affirming thing and something that friends have done with me that has really helped me a lot. So yeah, as I said, my first point was treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Developing consciousness about interpersonal aspects And to end with this third one, pushing for systemic change. And this is kind of at the intersecting impulses of treating trans people with respect and developing consciousness as well. And through developing consciousness, you're going to realize, first of all, that trans rights are human rights, and that there are still so many people that are very disproportionately affected by not having certain rights in place for trans people. If you have an LGBTQ center in your area, you can often find many events and avenues to become an activist or an advocate. You can find opportunities to advocate for inclusive bathroom spaces, better transgender health and medical care, better education. You can find legislative action that you can do. You can find lobbying. You can look into changing government paperwork. There's a lot of different ways that you can push for systemic change for trans and non-binary people. That's all I had to say on this subject. So for those of you that watch this channel frequently, you probably know that I'm becoming a music teacher, and I really push for being a non-binary advocate as a music teacher. So below this video in the description, I posted my packet on how to be a trans ally. There's a lot of helpful information. Some of it is specifically targeted towards music teachers. Like there's some stuff in there that talks about concert dress size, but there's a lot of good general information that you can look at in that packet if you want to know more about being an ally. Hope wherever you are, hope your day is going lovely. Hope you know that you are valid and you are loved. It's Timmie for OutOfThisBinary. Bye.